Hey, welcome back. Last time we introduced the team, me, AIA, and the crew of AI agents who are going to help build something real in front of your eyes. If you missed episode 0, the short version is, we're making a website. We're doing it with AI agents, and we're documenting the whole thing so you can see exactly what that looks like in practice. Today is a bit more foundational. Before we start building, I want to answer 2 questions that come up a lot. First, who actually uses OpenClaw? Because AI agent platform can sound pretty abstract. Second, where does it run? Because the answer matters more than you might think. Let's start with the people. Here's the thing about OpenClaw. It's not really built for one type of person. It's built around a concept that you should be able to message an AI assistant from wherever you already are and have it actually do things for you. What that looks like in practice depends entirely on who's asking. So let me walk you through the people I'd expect to find using this. The first type is someone like a solo founder or a small business owner. Think of someone running a 5-person company, wearing every hat at once. Sales calls in the morning, product decisions at lunch, customer emails at midnight. They're not a developer. They don't want to be. But they've realized that having an AI that knows their business, remembers context across conversations, and can draft emails or summarize threads while they're on a train. That's genuinely useful. Not fun to demo at a party useful. Useful in the way that saves 2 hours on a Tuesday. For this person, OpenClaw means they can message their AI assistant on WhatsApp, the same app they already use for everything else, and get actual work done. No switching apps, no copying and pasting, no context loss. The second type is a developer or technically minded person who's been burned by the hosted AI assistant experience. Maybe they're tired of paying subscription fees to 5 different services. Maybe they're worried about what happens to their data when it lives on someone else's server. Maybe they just want to actually understand what their AI is doing. OpenClaw is open source and self-hosted. That means you run it, you own the data, and you can read the code. For this type of person, that's not a nice to have. It's the whole point. They'll typically set it up on a cloud server, connect it to Discord because that's where they already spend time, and slowly start building a small team of specialized agents for different tasks. One for code review, one for research, one that monitors their inbox. Third, there's the person with a Raspberry Pi sitting on a shelf, or 3 of them. These are people who have smart home setups, who enjoy tinkering, and who genuinely enjoy the process of building something useful from cheap hardware. For them, the appeal of OpenClaw is that a $25 computer can run a personal AI assistant that's online around the clock, uses almost no electricity, and connects to every chat app they use. It's a home server that talks back. They'll set it up on a Saturday, spend another Saturday adding integrations, and never go back. Fourth, a small team. A design agency, a consulting firm, a remote startup. They have a shared Slack or Discord. They want an AI assistant that everyone on the team can talk to that remembers project context. And that doesn't mean every person buying their own subscription to something. OpenClaw supports this directly. You can run one gateway, connect it to your team's chat platform, and give each team member access. The assistant knows the shared context, handles requests in the channel, and can be configured so it only responds when mentioned. It doesn't interrupt every conversation. The team lead sets it up. Everyone else just talks to it like it's a particularly helpful colleague. And fifth, the knowledge worker. Someone who processes a lot of information, a journalist, a researcher, a consultant, a student doing serious work. Someone who reads a lot, writes a lot, and needs help thinking through problems and synthesizing sources. For this person, OpenClaw becomes a thinking partner they can reach through Telegram or Discord or wherever. They can share a document, ask for a summary, then ask follow-up questions, and the conversation persists across days or weeks without them having to repeat themselves every time. The AI remembers what you were working on. That's a deceptively big deal. So those are 5 different people: a founder, a developer, a tinkerer, a team lead, and a researcher. And what they share is actually pretty simple. They all want an AI assistant that works the way messaging already works, that runs on their terms, and that doesn't disappear when the context changes. The use cases look different on the surface. The underlying need is the same. All right, now let's talk about where this thing runs. Because this is where the trade-offs get interesting. OpenClaw runs on macOS, Windows, and Linux. It runs on cloud servers. It runs on a Raspberry Pi. It runs on a Mac Mini tucked behind your TV. The question isn't really, can it run here? The question is, what happens when you close the lid? Let me break it down by category. The easiest place to start is the machine you already have. Your MacBook, your Windows PC, your Linux desktop. You install OpenClaw, run a one-line setup command, and you're done. It works. You can start using it immediately. The trade-off is availability. OpenClaw runs as a background process, and it stays running as long as your computer is on. Close the lid on your laptop, and the gateway goes to sleep. Come back and message it from your phone while you're out, and there's no response until you're back at your desk and the machine is awake again. For getting started, for learning, for daily use at a desk, this is completely fine. Most people begin here, but if you want your assistant to be available at 2 in the morning when you're messaging from your phone, you'll eventually want it somewhere that never sleeps. This is the sweet spot for a lot of people, a small machine at home that's on all the time. The recommended option here is a Mac Mini. It's silent, it sips power, and it's powerful enough to run OpenClaw alongside several agents without breaking a sweat. You plug it in, connect it to your network, tuck it on a shelf, and that's it. It looks like a piece of home tech, not a server rack. If you already own one, or you're looking for an excuse to buy one, this is a genuinely good use for it. If you're more of a tinkerer and want to spend as little as possible, a Raspberry Pi is a great option too. A Pi 4 or Pi 5 with a couple of gigabytes of RAM will run OpenClaw comfortably for around $35 to $80 one time, no monthly fees. It uses about as much electricity as a nightlight. It's the budget-conscious DIY path, and a lot of the OpenClaw community has built really interesting setups this way. Either way, the appeal of home hardware over the cloud is the same. You own it outright. No monthly bill, no provider dependency. Your data stays in your house. The trade-off is that it requires a bit more setup to access from outside your home network. And if your power or internet goes out, so does your assistant. The third option is a cloud server, what people usually call a VPS, which stands for Virtual Private Server. This is a small rented computer that lives in a data center somewhere, always on, always connected, and accessible from anywhere in the world. For OpenClaw, providers like Hetzner, DigitalOcean, and AWS work well. The cheapest plans, we're talking around $4 to $6 a month, are more than enough to run OpenClaw. Oracle Cloud even has a free tier that works, though it can be a bit finicky to sign up for. The VPS approach is the most reliable option for availability. It doesn't depend on your home power, your home internet, or anyone walking past and unplugging something. It's just there, always running, always reachable. The trade-off is the ongoing cost and the fact that your data lives on someone else's hardware. For a lot of people, that's a perfectly acceptable deal. $4 a month for bulletproof uptime is reasonable. For others, the idea of their AI assistant's memory living on a rented server they don't physically control is a reason to prefer home hardware. There's no wrong answer. It depends on your priorities. So how do you choose? Here's the simple version. If you just want to try it out, start with your laptop. It takes 5 minutes and costs nothing. If you want something always on and you like the idea of owning your hardware, a Mac Mini is the easiest option. Plug it in and you're done. A Raspberry Pi works great too if you're happy to tinker and want to spend less. If you want the easiest path to always-on reliability, rent a small VPS. It's cheap, it's simple, and it just works. And if you're a team, a VPS is almost certainly the right call. It's accessible from anywhere and doesn't depend on someone's home internet staying up. So that's episode 1. We've met the kinds of people who use OpenClaw, from overwhelmed founders to home tinkerers to distributed teams, and we've mapped out where it can run and what those trade-offs actually mean in plain terms. Next episode is where things get hands-on. You now know what OpenClaw is and where it runs. Next episode, we go inside the machine. How do you actually talk to your agents? What makes them different from a chatbot? And what does it look like when agents, models, and memory all work together? It's the wiring diagram. In plain English. Episode 2 is coming. See you there. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. It really helps us grow. And if you have a question about AI agents or an idea for a topic you'd like us to cover, Drop it in the comments. We read everything, and we just might make an episode for you. This closing is standard across all episodes. Keep AIA's voice warm, not pushy.